Hello and welcome to a tournament recap of the closed event cup hosted by ConsciouslyEating, which happened on Friday, April 28th of 2023. So this is the bracket that we were presented with at the beginning. So a little bit about the format. It was a best of one until the semis, and then best of three from semis and the finals. I was a little bit disappointed when I saw this bracket. We had Ruadh and DESTROYcall play against me. Two very strong opponents, and a little bit of unlucky luck of the draw for both Ruadh and DESTROYcall. But, what can you do? Ultimately, DESTROYcall won that game, and we'll hop straight into DESTROYcall versus me, best of one. So the ban system, I banned, what's it called? I banned Frozen Temple. So the map pool was Ravaged, Frozen Temple, and Sylvan Charm. I banned Frozen Temple just because I'm not familiar with the map. DESTROYcall decided to bring me to Sylvan Charm. So here we are. Let's do a little bit of my preparation in advance to this game. I was feeling pretty good against DESTROYcall. I've played the longer macro games, I've won most of them. The only ones that I've kind of lost or I didn't feel too comfortable in was things that went beast versus beast, where werewolves, dragons, ballista, stuff like that happened. So I didn't want to get into something like that. So I decided I'm just gonna play pretty standard, go for a quick scout, make sure I'm not being cheesed because he might cheese, and just go for a standard Rax opening and see how it goes from there. Play it by ear. So I am going to go scout this side of the map. The reason being, for those of you who don't know, the last tournament, DESTROYcall pulled out a proxy 2 Rax Raider on Sylvan Charm, where you just blink across into the pocket natural. I did it actually on this side, I believe against Guinness, unless I'm mistaken. So I was wary of that. I was aware of that, so I didn't want that to happen to me. So I did check this, and I'm gonna go across the map with my worker. DESTROYcall opted to go for a proxy Rax Raiders. So this is way faster than mine. So he needs to do a lot of damage or outright win the game. But yeah, so I'm gonna go across the map, and we'll see if I'm able to defend. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. He goes for DESTROYcall, gonna go for a workshop. So this is a cheese that I have lost to against DESTROYcall before. Raider and workshop katas, and you just sometimes he gets the tower even in front. I'm scouting in his main base and see nothing, so I know something's up. So what I do is I have this worker go over here. I still think it's the it might be something like that. The Raider, and as soon as I see this Raider, I'm gonna cancel that and actually go for a Rax because I'm thinking it's a 2 Rax, and my what I want to do is 2 Rax against him and just have better micro, use the advantage of having workers closer to take better fights. That's essentially what I did. I think I overreacted a little bit. I shouldn't have pulled as many workers, but panic times. I have not seen anything else. My worker's trying to go back home. Or is it? I think it's just trying to find where the proxy Rax is. So by the timing of when the first Rax, the Raider hit, I know it's proxied. I think I'm gonna be able to barely scout it or barely not. There we go. And notice how I'm not actually engaging. I want to engage ideally with more Raiders than he has, or if worst comes to worst, the same number. So here's my second Raider, and this is when I'm gonna engage. Yeah, Raider versus Raider fight is very volatile. I do see this third Raider coming, so I'm just gonna blink away and try to play a little bit more defensively. My macro is not the greatest at the moment, but yeah, that's okay. It's a dire situation, and I'm trying to hang on. So right now it's 2 versus 3. I do not want to fight this. gonna wait for my next raider. So you want to fight with an equal or even ideally a better raider count. DESTROYcall has his first catapult out. Should probably go for an attack with it, but not going to do that. Of course, DESTROYcall not building any workers after the initial 8, so definitely a huge all-in. Yeah, so I'm essentially buying time just to get more raiders than my opponent, and then going to try to go for a fight when that happens. I do notice the catapult. I'm going to blink away, so now I'm fully aware. I was also aware a little bit earlier too, not 100% sure, but by the amount of raiders and how fast they were pulling up, I knew it was probably a 1-den, a 1 Rax raider, which means that I'm more content with just playing a little bit more passive and waiting for a raider advantage, which I will have with this 5th raider versus 5th and 6th raider versus 5. So I pull the workers and go for this timing. I probably should have rallied this a little bit more forward. And here's the fight. Some micro. I think I'd have the better micro overall. That raider is going to blink black. The catapult falls. And with the workers as buffer to tank some hits, I am going to take a little bit of a better fight. I do lose, I think, the same amount of raiders, but at this point, I have more raider production, and I've destroyed the first catapult, so I'm feeling pretty good at this point in time. We pick off this worker. Nice. I'm going to send my workers back to mining, and I know by now there should be another catapult popping, so I'm going to try to surround that with my raiders. I have double raider production versus his, and yeah. Able to save that raider, dodge the catapult shot, and also target down the other raiders one by one. And yeah, that's gonna do it. GG, DESTROYcall says, and that's unfortunately it's a best of 1, so or fortunately for me. But yeah, that was that round, and I'm gonna go into the semifinals after winning a single game. So pretty lucky for me. Let's see who I face. It's gonna be Ruadh. So let's hop into those games right now. Alright, so we decided to play on Ruadh first. So Ruadh, I actually know him as more of a beast player. He liked to play the AC fast expand 2-den kind of build where you build a castle on like 9 or 10 and then go for 2-dens from there. But lately I've noticed that he's been playing a lot more Rax. So yeah, so that is something that's definitely on my mind. One thing I do want to note is I'm gonna be scouting pretty diligently against these players just to make sure I don't lose to a cheese or something like that. Especially when it was the best of 1 against DESTROYcall. Yeah, it's just it's really volatile with the best of 1, so definitely scouting is the right play, I think. And I'm going to scout here as well against Ruadh. I do feel like I'm the favorite for sure. It was a little bit more like maybe 70-30, 60-40 against DESTROYcall, but against Ruadh I do think I am the stronger player, so I do want to be playing a little bit more safe, and I should be good. I'm going to opt for a 1-den expand, just because I think he's probably going to play Rax, and I kind of want to. I don't want to go into a Rax versus Rax mirror most of the time, just because of like the Raider versus Raider can be volatile, and it's not exactly easy to win it. One of my least favorite interactions, but it happens. I'm just doing a little bit of harassment. Obviously, I'm not going to get anything monumental out of that, but just making sure, just being annoying. And yeah, so it's going to be 1-den versus 1 Rax, and we'll see how it goes from there. So Ruadh, like I said, is someone who I have like a beast player mindset in my mind, but he's been playing a lot of Rax recently, I think. I played him as guest once or twice. So yeah, definitely a solid mid-tier player, I think. But yeah, I do think I'm the better player, and that will kind of show in what I'm gonna try to do. So generally, if you have an advantage, like if you feel like you're favored against someone, It's better to play either very like aggressively or very safe. I mean, it really depends on your playstyle and what you want to do, but yeah, it's. I guess it's up to you. But that's generally how I like to see it. If I'm playing against someone who's really, who I feel like is, of a lesser skilled variety than me, I would either tend to play very safe or very aggressive. Usually, nothing kind of in the middle, actually, but we'll see how it goes. So, Double Raider Expand versus one Den. Generally, this is actually usually good for the Rax player. You're usually able to send your Raider across the map, just trusting on your second Raider for defense, and then you're able to ideally delay the castle. DESTROYcall does a build where he goes for a second house, which is what I've done here. So it delays the castle a little bit more, but you have constant wolf production, so it's more pressure on the opponent. So I'm able to take down a worker, which is absolutely huge. This Raider hasn't been doing much. It's just been chasing down a wolf across the map, so it's not really doing... I guess I'm kind of pulling him apart in a way. It's not doing what it should be doing. This Raider ideally should be across the map checking to see the castle timing and trying to harass that, but it happens, I guess. Yeah, so it's going to be a third Raider behind that. Ruadh looks like it's going to go for a house. Actually, he cancels that and goes for a archer. So, alright, at this point I'm going to consolidate my wolves and try to see if I can do any more damage. A second Rax on the way for Ruadh. I'm still on one Den. Yeah, I see this Raider and try to go for it, but Ruadh is quick enough to flash that away. We have the archer popping. And yeah, I'm just going to try to do as much damage as possible. Ideally, I want to be killing, raiders, but not necessarily going to happen every single time. That one is able to happen, so I'm able to get that. Pulling back the weak wolves as I can. And yeah, so this is not the best micro out of Ruadh. I feel like his inexperience with Rax kind of shows here. And I'm able to take down one worker at the beginning, and then an archer and a raider for free. Essentially, I don't think I've lost a single unit. Yeah, so I haven't. So yeah, at this point, I'm delaying his castle. This is pretty good for me. I'm taking my own third, taking my second wolves den as well. So I'm chilling. I feel like I'm way ahead, and yeah. So this is just a lot of pressure that did more damage than it really should have. And essentially what I'm satisfied with this damage. I decide to come back down and try to delay this castle for as long as possible. Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. I have another den on the way just for safety's sake. Just in case, because I did see the second Rax and 2Rax Raider, if micro correctly, should beat a lot of wolves. So just a little bit of micro here. I'm trying to go for a bit of a surround. Yeah. At this point, because Ruadh's already lost a lot of units already, losing another Raider there, not ideal. I do want to mention that I believe Ruadh was not playing with the best internet connection, so this sort of thing is very unfortunate, especially that it happened on day of a tournament. But yeah, so what you really want to be doing is you want to, number one, not lose any units for free, and then also you want to bring your workers so that you can get some surrounds on these wolves and try to kill them from there. But I guess this is something that comes with experience. Yeah, so this castle does go dangerously low in a way, but we'll see if I'm able to get that. He does pull his workers and does trap a wolf. I try to micro and bring it back, but I'm unable to do so. I'm willing to take this fight just because his raiders are very, very low, and I want to take down as much as possible. Trying to do as much pullback micro on the weak wolves as possible. You get a raider there. I think I can get maybe another worker or so as I come back. not quite. Maybe I get that Raider, I don't know. But this last fight was pretty good for Ruadh. At least it was like as good as he could get, given the circumstances. So he is gonna hold on. I'm trying to get that last Raider, but that wolf is gonna die. So that last fight was really good for him. Probably, if I wanted to play a lot more like safer, then I probably should have just pulled back and not fought that, but those low HP raiders were too juicy for me to pass up. Ruadh is 3-raxing, so that's going to be a lot of pressure that he's able to put up. I generally don't like the 3-racks just because it doesn't have the flexibility of a 2-racks or a 1-racks, and it doesn't have that punching power of a 4-racks on 2 bases, but in this situation, he already got 3-racks. This raider goes across the map to scout it, but I did catch a glimpse of it over here, and then I was able to surround it over here, so yeah. And then, of course, I try to do my due diligence of putting wolves in places just in case anything happens with a 3rd base or anything like that. Ruadh is going to look to take his 3rd base here. There we go. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that and keep an eye on. And we'll keep an eye on that. Get a bit of a surround here, which is pretty good. Ruadh smartly going into a choke point, so I don't get as much surface area. But I bring a portion of my army to go around and try to get the full surround. So yeah, there goes his archers, there goes the majority of his raiders in his army. And yeah, that's, Ruadh just had not the ideal start. So, he's forced to cancel his 3rd, and by this point, pretty much over. And Ruadh says GG. Alright, so that was game 1. Let's hop into game 2. Alright, game 2 was played on Frozen Temple. This is a map that I am not very aware of, which means I've played, what, maybe 2 games on this map? So not a lot. But yeah, one thing I noticed is that the main and the natural is very small. Not exactly really like as big as like Ravage per se or anything like that. This choke point is insanely small. I think this is 6 for a natural, which means this natural is essentially free. And yeah, so I decided to take advantage of this, and I'm gonna go for a mech build. Obviously, I want to scout as well. And we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna speed up just because there's not much to do right now. I'm gonna go for a scout with the worker just to make sure I'm not being cheesed or anything like that. I'm gonna see that and just pull back, satisfied that it's just gonna be a 1-rax expand probably. I'm gonna go for a Gatling and just a standard build. Gonna go for a catapult drop after 2 Gatling guns and try to put as much damage as I can. Yeah, I guess we'll stop around here. This is a mistake that I made. I was a little bit too ambitious and walked out. If Ruadh actually flashed his raiders a second time, I feel like he would have been able to get one or even both of my Gatling guns. So that was definitely a mistake for me, being a little bit ambitious and a little bit more too exploratory. But Ruadh not quite able to capitalize on that as much as he would have liked, so I'm able to get away with it. On the other side of the map, Ruadh is going to go get away with a quick 3rd, which is pretty much how I would play. However, I would also go for a advanced workshop after that, just because it just adds so much to defending cata drops, and also, if they don't go for cata drops, you can just get an airship and drop into his main. So that's something. Instead, Ruadh is going to go for watchtowers to defend the inevitable cata drop. Not ideal in my opinion. I don't think this is the best way to play against it, just because catapults outrange watchtowers, and also watchtowers are static. So, hence their static defense, and you can just go around them and avoid them as much as possible. But yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go for that cata drop. Bring a worker just for the repair. And yeah, I do see this raider in vision, so I'm going to try to take that out with my catapults. But it does survive. There, it's going to go flash away. And I'm gonna look to take a third after while this catapult is hopefully distracting my opponent on the other side of the map. So I'm not sure about this map too much. There are two potential third bases. This one I think is better in my opinion. There's no real place to like drop. This is all you're not allowed to drop here. It's like the purple thing in the editor. While that's going on, here's my catapult drop. I do walk into the tower because I'm stupid, but it happens. With the catapult drop, I do want to be targeting the gold line, and there we go, I am. This diagonal placement means that the workers don't clump as much, so that's an advantage if you do want to play against mech. However, you do get a little bit less mining, so it's pros and cons. But like I was saying, this third base is, I think, the better third base to take, just because it is tucked away into the corner. You have some really good potential for SimCity. On the other hand, this third base, not as good, I feel like. It's on the low ground, so it's hard to defend against pushes from either side. But yeah, so Ruadh is able to repel my airship, drop for a while, which is good. I have a second one on the way, and we're going to see if that's able to do more damage. And at the same time, I have my third, whereas Ruadh has their third a lot earlier than mine. So I'm just going to follow this up with more just standard Rex, or excuse me, standard mech play. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. This drop is here, and it's going to try to take out the worker. Going to try to do as much damage as possible. Yeah, so I'm essentially on both sides of the map, just trying to make sure Ruadh has to stay on his side of the map. If you look at what I have at home, it's not much, so I do want to keep him on his side of the map so I don't die immediately to a push or something like that. Yeah, so this is why I don't really like the watchtowers. They don't really do much. What I try to do here is I try to be a little bit fancy, come in and drop, but 2 towers is a lot much. Honestly, I feel like it's an overinvestment. It's much easier to just get a ballista, or not much easier, it's much more efficient and makes more sense in my opinion to get a ballista. But yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. I'm not able to fully commit most of the time with my cannon drops. But yeah, it's alright, I guess. But yeah. And then we're just macroing up at home. And so is he. So one thing that I want to mention with drops is I used to be like, oh, I need to do some damage with them. So I would like sacrifice them, get really deep, and try to do as much damage as possible. But I found that it's actually usually better to just play a lot more passive. Try to get damage where you can, but don't feel pressured to get damage, because just the threat of the drop means that your opponent has to stay aware of it, and also keep units at home. He's afraid to move out, essentially, because the drops might come and do damage at any moment, right? So that's just one thing I want to mention. Yeah, so like that sort of mind shift, I feel like has done, I guess, wonders for my mech play in a way. So I feel like a lot of players who go for the drop, they just like, oh, I need to do damage, or else you know, I'll be behind. Which is kind of true, but just the act of having the drops and the threat of it, keeping the opponent on their side of the map, preventing them from going for a counterattack or anything like that, that has inherent value of itself, even though you're not actually doing any real significant damage. So I don't think I've done too much damage over here. A little bit of lag here. Ruadh had a bit of internet connectivity problems, so we paused. But yeah, so I haven't done a lot of actual real damage, but that's okay. I'm still doing all right. I don't need to do damage for me to get an advantage out of a drop opening. So yeah. I do want to say, talk a little bit more about this map, I guess. This map was created by ConsciouslyEating, if I am not mistaken. There are a lot of like doodads and like neutral units across the map. I'm not a huge fan of that, actually. I think it can be confusing for some new players. But yeah, the map is pretty open in the middle. Like I said, the natural and the main are very small and cramped, and also the thirds as well. I feel like this is not exactly a map that I would enjoy playing on as much, but it was part of the map pool, and it's a best of 3 with only 3 maps, so you're gonna have to play it occasionally, I think. So this push of mine does not do as much damage as I would hope. I lose all the Gatlings pretty much for free. So some poor micro by me, but at the same time I do have a cattle drop on the other side of the map. Not doing damage, but it is existing. And now I bring it into the middle, trying to do some damage. I'm not Q-firing properly, and when I do, Ruadh is quick to pull the workers out of the mine. So good reaction on his side of the... yeah. I'm taking a 4th base, whereas my opponent has not been able to have the luxury of doing so. Trying to do as much damage as I can on this side. Looks like I did get 1 shot, but not all of the damage that I wanted. I'm going to Q-fire onto this mineral line, and that is a bit more fruitful, and this is able to escape. So yeah, if you want to shut down cattle drops, you definitely want to go for ballista airship of your own. We have a bit of a counterattack, but I'm able to see that with this Gatling gun, and I'm able to prepare on top of the ramp. So having high ground advantage, obviously a good idea. I thought he was going to come over this way, but instead he goes this way, so I was actually not prepared. So a bit of a mistake. But at the same time, I'm dropping into the 3rd, I'm dropping into the natural. I'm alright with these dying now because he's already on the other side of the map, right? So I don't need to keep him back because he's already on my side of the map. So normally I wouldn't be so aggressive with them, but now I'm okay with sacrificing them, and then all I need to do is just get rid of this army, and I should be good. Cute little house block over here to prevent my workers from being targeted down, and yeah, this is just going to be a very strong fight for me. The micro wasn't amazing out of Ruadh. There was some micro, it was definitely good, but not amazing or game-ending or something, any sort of that. And at this point I have a 4th base and he does not. I've killed so many workers, he's down to however many, 15 only, so yeah, things are looking really good for me. So essentially, if he can't kill me in the next like 30 seconds, it's gonna be GG. So he loses a whole bunch of archers for free there. And yeah, while he's able to take out a couple of catapults. Any trade that isn't like disastrous is a good trade for me. So he's gonna come in with pretty much the last portion of his army. Try to kill me, but a little bit of airship micro, and I should be fine. And the supplies tell the tale. 90 supply to 50, so doubling the supply of my opponent, and yeah, that's pretty much it. He does have a worker here trying to go for a 4th base, but with what workers is the question. Yeah. Maybe I should fast forward a bit. At this point, when you are really ahead, you gotta be thinking about what can they do to kill me out of nowhere. So you gotta think about your... when you're ahead, I feel like you should be thinking about, how can I lose this? How can my opponent possibly get back into this game? So what I'm thinking is maybe some sort of dragon switch or something, which is why I'm going for the explosive shot, the splash damage on the ballista, just in case. But yeah, if you are behind, you want to be thinking, okay, what can I do to win the game? If you're ahead, you want to be, okay, what can I do that could potentially lose me the game? Just some things. But yeah, there's a bit of an attack on this side of the map against me, but I have another huge army on this side of the map, knocking at his front door, and my reinforcement should be able to take care of this, and Ruadh says GG, which means I'm going to the finals. So let's take a look at how that went against Rynus. Alright, first map against Rynus on Sylvan Charm. One thing I do want to note is that Rynus is a very good player, definitely known for his mech play. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I was able to catch a glimpse of some of his games, and he played Proxy Turak, or he played Turak's Raiders on Ravage, so I kind of could tell that he was in a little bit of a cheesy mood, so I did want to be pretty safe, so I am going to go for just a 1 Rex expand into Quick Scout, or at least that's my plan on this map as well. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to go for a 2-den to like set the pace of the series and stuff like that, but I decided not to just because I saw him opt for 2 Rax Raiders, and 2-den versus 2 Rax Raiders is just a build order win for the Raiders, so I decided not to do that. One pretty cool thing, I'm going across the map, I barely am not able to see this Proxy Rax. So if you look at my vision, I am unable to see it. It's literally just right there, which is unfortunate. If I had seen that, would have been probably game over immediately, but I do see this worker, however. One thing that Rynus does, a little bit of mind games, he's going to say it's like an anti-cheese worker. There you go. At that point, I don't really believe him, honestly, but whatever. I'm just going to go check into the main, and make sure, see what's up. So it looks like he was actually going to go for a Proxy T-Rex, but wasn't able to do so because of my scouting worker. So fortuitous that I was able to see this worker, but a little bit unlucky that I wasn't able to see this. I do see nothing, so I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be something proxied. I am going to go back in to double check a little bit later. This worker's actually going to go around, which is pretty nice. Normally, it would go this way if you manually path it. I'm checking to see if it's a double proxy repair on this side over here. I don't see anything in the natural. Yeah, so that's what my guess is. But I do see this, and I pull back immediately. So it looks like he's going to go for a improvised tower rush with the workshop as well. Yeah, but however, this is just not good preparation out of Rynus. His initial plan was foiled, that's why he's going for something ridiculous as this. I have my worker versus 1 raider. I'm able to win that just because the worker adds a little bit of DPS, and bam. So he's forced to cancel it. He's not going to get this watchtower up, he's going to cancel that, and essentially I'm in a very good position. This is just really good for me. Do I see this right now? I do. So a little bit unfortunate. I ideally would have seen that a little bit earlier, but that's okay. It happens. Yeah. So at this time, I know that I'm up a raider because I took down his raider and I didn't lose one. So I'm planning on going across the map and trying to do as much damage as possible. And we'll see if I'm able to do so. Gonna go for a natural expansion, and so is Rynus, it seems like. Maybe not. Gonna go for a second house instead. I am gonna go for a castle, however. This raider is gonna go straight into my base to see what it can find, but I have a raider popping just at the same time, so might be able to get 1 worker, but I shouldn't get too much more than that. Is able to get that worker. And it's able to escape as well, so well done by him. Good micro. However, that means that there's 1 less raider on this side of the map defending. I get my raiders surrounded, which is not ideal. But you do not want your raiders to get surrounded, and you do not want to waste a flash against just workers. But I get them surrounded again, so this is actually really bad. Ideally, you do not want them to get surrounded. You just want to stay on the outskirts of the mineral line and just do as much damage as possible. I'm not looking right now either because I have no idea, and I just taking this much damage is actually really poor micro out of me. It's pretty much unacceptable, but yeah, that was just really poor. I shouldn't have been so aggressive with them or carefree. I should have been a little bit more on top of my micro. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. This raider is going to come back and try to destroy my raider. I do a little bit of juking, and I'm barely able to survive with 3 HP, I believe. And then I have my second raider on the way, or my additional raiders on the way. That raider is able to take down my raider. So far the unit count is 2 lost on both sides, but I have an extra raider because I don't know why. I just do for some reason. I guess he missed a production cycle or something like that. But yeah, so his raider is very low at this moment, so this is a really good advantage for me. I have a natural and it's up. His natural is not quite up either. Yeah, this is just good for me at this moment in time. And he has less workers than me as well, so I take out that raider, able to flash away, and GG's called. So I win game 1 after a good cheese defense. Alright, let's go into game 2. Game 2 of the finals, best of 3, as I mentioned before, is going to be on Ravaged, which is the map that Rynus picked. I'm a little bit miffed about being cheesed and not respected, so I'm going to cheese Rynus. That's how it goes. So I decided to do a 2-den. I don't expect him to go for a cheese again. I expect him to play kind of safe and just go for a just standard build. So my game plan, gonna 2-den. One thing that I do is I'm gonna split my dens just in case that Rynus is able to scout it. But we'll see if that comes into that, or that has an effect, or if that is important. But yeah, I'm gonna 2-den and see if that works out. For those of you who saw the previous tournament, May Cup of last year, the one map that Rynus lost in that entire tournament was to a 2-den against Oglaba on Ravage. So, yeah, I noticed that his 2-den defense wasn't as sharp as it really could have been. Rynus is actually able to scout this, which, if you look at yeah, this is, I think, pretty lucky in my opinion. But he did scout. Well, I guess it's good scouting. Rynus is laughing. I cancel immediately, and yeah. However, I do have the other den, so this is still okay. If I had them both, I would have had to cancel them both, I think. But Rynus thinks he's won, essentially, because he found my proxy. But I don't think so. It's inconvenient, but yeah, I'm gonna shift my gears and just go for a one den expand is what I'm trying to do. I do not want to get house blocked, so I've been trying to not get house blocked here, but Rynus is still able to do so. Some good micro out of him. I do want to be able to take down this worker. I am barely not able to, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this is a little bit annoying. I'm not able to go for a quick natural if I wanted to, so unless I bring this worker back, which I might do, but we'll see. But yeah, so I have this worker. I just want to scout to make sure it's I'm not being like cheesed or anything. Unfortunately, it gets spotted, and Rynus is gonna try to take that down. I do have a handful of wolves coming, but yeah, so by now, generally the natural expansion should be about to pop, and like you should be about to bring it down, but it is not. This is a decision that I don't agree with. Rynus decides to bring a whole bunch of workers. It really confused me, honestly. I was like, oh no, what is this? What should I do? Yeah, I don't know why he did this, honestly. I think it's a mistake. I guess he wanted to really defend this 2-den if he still thought it was a 2-den. But this is you're just losing so much income, I think. I guess he thinks that I can't get a natural base or something like that. I don't know. I see that his army, including his workers, is on this side of the map, so I go onto the other side, try to do as much worker harassment as possible. I nearly get surrounded there, but I am able to squeeze out of my way of that sticky situation. This wolf popping means that his entire army chased it for a bit, which means I have a little bit more time to get out another wolf, which is surprisingly pretty cool. I had started to build a tower here because I thought that maybe he was going to go for an all-in or something like that with this, but when he was starting to like attack this, I cancelled it and just kind of chilled, essentially. So now, right now, if there's a head-up, straight up fight between these two armies, I'm gonna lose because Raiders have just so much micro ability, and I do not want that to happen. So I'm just trying. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just be a little bit as annoying as I can. Try to keep him on his side of the map, and I know that my natural is faster than him. I also know that he's been on an adventure with some of his workers, so yeah. So I know I'm ahead economically. I just want to not die and just keep him on his side of the map. So yeah, that's essentially what my game plan is. At this moment, and I'm expecting him to play to go into mech after this, so I'm probably just gonna play a little bit of beast versus mech, or at least that's what's going through my head at that time. I bring back a portion of my wolves. Wolves, along with workers, should be able to defend like 3 or 4 raiders. I have these 2 wolves on the other side of the map, just trying to do as much scouting as possible. I do scout the second barracks, and the timing of his natural. He is forced to pull his raiders back. Honestly, he really shouldn't have. He should have just tried to do as much damage over here. But pulling down his 4 raiders just for 2 wolves is a trade I'll take any moment of the day, any day of the week. So yeah, I'm gonna just bring that 1 worker, able to snipe it down. He is able to trap this wolf, so well done by him. He's also able to flash and just get that wolf as well. So technically, like resources wise, it's not a good trade, but I'm still good with it just because he's able to, or I force him to bring his units back. I'm able to capitalize on my end of the map with just a better economy. So yeah, I have like 5 more workers. If you look at the income, I'm up 500 gold approximately. So this is just really good for me. The longer this game goes on, the better situation I am in. So yeah, so I'm just putting more wolves to the other side of the map just to try to keep him on his side of the map. I'm also going to go for a fortress because I saw 2 dens, or sorry, 2 racks, and I kind of want to play. I expect him to go for like a mech push and something like that. So I'm gonna try to see if I can do any damage with some dragons. He has his raiders on my side of the map this time, which means he has not as much at home. I do a little bit of mineral walking and try to do as much damage as I can. At the same time, I'm doing damage on this side of the map, trying to pull out weak wolves. So yeah, I'm able to snipe 1 worker. I think I lose 1 wolf for that. Maybe, yeah, 1 wolf. But I'm able to take out 1 of the raiders on this side of the map as well. So some pretty good micro on both sides of the map. Able to save these weak wolves and also able to get 1 of his raiders. So good trade on my side of the map. Once I see all these archers, I'm decide to cancel my fortress and just go for a quick 3rd. I say quick, but it's not actually that quick. It's just quick relative to the pace of this current game. So I guess that's kind of quick. Rynus is able to take maybe 1 or 2 wolves, shave them off. Yeah, I also, so the reason why I didn't continue my fortress plan is I saw that he was going for just continual racks production rather than going for a mech style, so no workshop unit, so I didn't want to go for it. Yeah, so that was my thought process in canceling the fortress. I have a wolf on the 3rd. I think I should have another one over here if I want to at least. I think this wolf is going to go there. But yeah. One thing I noticed is this army is pretty big. He still doesn't have a 3rd. I was gonna go for a 4th if he did get this base, but he didn't. So I know he's probably gonna do some sort of push, which is why my reaction, gonna put down a workshop. This might barely finish in time if I buy as much time as I can with these wolves. I lose 1, which is unfortunate, but yeah, by now I know this sort of push is gonna come. These 2 scouting wolves, I'm gonna bring them in, try to pick off reinforcements if I can. A little bit of mismicro out of me losing a wolf here, but these wolves are going to try to do as much damage as possible. just to lay his reinforcements, stuff like that. And I set up a surround. This watchtower is not quite ready, which is unfortunate. I didn't start it quite on time as I wanted. These wolves are able to get maybe one worker, I'm not quite sure. And then this is the fight that I'm taking, which is not exactly the best fight, but it's good enough. The longer I survive, the better I am, because I know I am up a base. So try to get as much of a surround as possible. These will still try to make sure there are no third bases or reinforcements coming across the map. So I do want to criticize Rynus' focus fire engagement over here. There were a lot of wolves that were really low, and with better focus fire, better engagement, better micro, then he would have probably won this fight actually entirely, instead of having it be a bit of a stalemate and him having to go across the map. Interesting, he does cancel this workshop. I think it's because he placed it incorrectly, which means if he had kept it, then he would not be able to move the bigger units such as Gatling guns, catapults, or ballista in between these. So that's a mistake. And I am content enough to just go for another base. I defended his push pretty well, and I'm gonna, just go for another base. I'm gonna try to do catadrops just because it's Rynus, and therefore I want to do catadrops against him, just so that he can get a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. I do see this weak archer, and I split off 2 wolves to get it. Pretty good micro over there, and I'm able to escape, and those wolves will regenerate health, so free pick off out of me. That's the little tiny things that really add up over time if you get really good at it. I have a 4th. He still hasn't started his my 4th and his 3rd are gonna finish at approximately the same time, so still really good for me. These raiders are gonna come in, try to do as much damage as possible. Is gonna try to target down this catapult. However, I am ready and quick with my worker pull. They are going to repair each other, or they are going to repair that catapult, and yeah. So that's one thing that really surprised me, is that Rynus did not go for a full-on mech kind of style. He was playing a lot of like racks, which while he is still a really good player, he just doesn't have that experience with racks compared to some other Rax players. He's definitely the top of the league, or top of the game with his mech play, but his Rax play isn't, while it's good, it's not like top tier in my opinion. I mean, maybe it is top tier, but it's not on the same level as his mech play for sure. So yeah, this really surprised me that he just didn't go for mech. I'm not quite sure why. I am a little bit supply blocked, which is not good. I'm gonna take a 5th base, which is good, and I'm gonna go for an airship catadrop. So try to do as much damage as I can, but Rynus is pretty on top of things. Is able to have a tower in time. This is also a really cool move. I showed the airship on purpose, and that allows me to get the drop on this side of the map, so I'm able to take down an archer, take down a tower, essentially for free, just by like saying hi on this side of the map with the airship. It forced his main army to move this way, so had this army been here, then I wouldn't have been able to take that out. So that's just some army movement tips where you're able to do a little bit of army movement just to get an advantage. Pull his army out of the way on one side of the map just to do damage on the other side of the map. Yeah. So I have this catadrop, trying to go in, try to do as much damage as I can, but Rynus is very quick to respond and will not take any damage. Well done to him. I'm just gonna run away with that, or fly away as it is. But at this point, I'm just way too far ahead. I have a 5th base, I have my 6th base on the way even. This is pretty greedy, I probably shouldn't have done that. I should instead be getting more like wolves' dens or more production facilities. I have a werewolves' den. I'm able to catch this worker in the middle of the map, which is pretty nice. Free worker. Take those. And I am aware that he is only on just 2 bases, or 3 bases with these scouting wolves, so I'm feeling really good. I do see this airship come in when I drop with this airship. I see it out of the and and try to do as much damage. So I know that this is probably going to be a cata drop, as if it's Rynus and it's an airship, there's probably 2 catapults in there. This catapult drop of mine, unfortunately, does get surrounded and destroyed, so some poor micro out of myself. But yeah, I'm able to pull my army back to where that airship was coming from. And I don't have any towers, unfortunately, and my ballista isn't quite ready. But yeah, but just by me seeing that over here, I was able to be aware and like alert on ready of this catapult drop. So I was like expecting it, and therefore I'm able to take minimal damage, which is really good. One thing that I do want to criticize myself is I did not have a wolf in the middle of the map over here to spot this army move out. Which is just a straight up mistake out of me. Instead of pulling this entire army, I should have, left a handful of units, like a wolf or 2, over there just to keep tabs on the army. But it went across the map without me noticing. I'm still trying to deal with this cata drop. But yeah, so this is just poor out of me. The werewolf falls for free. I'm unable to get a smash off, and I am supply blocked a little bit, so my next phone didn't start. But losing a handful of units will fix that. I try to ward this off, which I am able to do, but this army of Rynus is gonna be in a very good position. Rynus is floating a lot of money at the same time, though, which is not really good. It is very uncharacteristic. I'm trying to defend it as best I can with this, with these handful of catapults, and I bring the rest of my army as well. I think I was unable? No, yeah, I was unable to take out that cata drop, which is unfortunate, but yeah, even if I lose this base and these workers, I'm still going to be super ahead, just because I have way more bases. This wolf dies, but I'm aware of this 4th base now. And also, Rynus is going to go for a double expand because he was floating so much. But yeah, I'm able to completely shut down his attack. This cata drop is still going to try to go into my main. Where's mine and ballista? Here it is, trying to shut that down. I do see this. I'm going to build a tower on top. Going to expand over here. I'm also aware of that, but a little bit busy trying to defend this cata drop at the same time at home. I'm able to take it out. He does get a handful of workers, but it's going to be cleaned up eventually. I'm denying this base. I know that this base is coming up, but and Rynus has had enough, and he's pulling all the workers and just going to go for a huge all-in push, probably because he knows I have too many bases at this point, so he's too far behind, so this is basically all that he can do. Yeah. That's pretty much it, I guess. So unless this huge all-in, bring all the workers thing, so greedy, he says. Yeah, it was as greedy as I really wanted to be, but it happens. But yeah, so he's just pulling all his workers, which is a mistake, or I guess a desperation move, and GG is called. And yeah. So that concludes the final of this tournament. It was a very short tournament in a way, because there were a lot of best of ones before the semis and the finals. I'm not sure if that's the best idea for a tournament. Additionally, Consciously Eating also played in the tournament, which I still don't think it's a really good idea. Just because, conflict of interest, if you're a competitor and a tournament organizer, you're going to have, he did really well, but still, I kind of don't agree with it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully there'll be more tournaments or events or stuff like that in the future, and I'll see you next time.